This is the southern cassowary. The southern cassowary is native to northern Australia, New Guinea, and surrounding islands. There are actually 3 species of cassowary, with the southern cassowary being the only one to live in Australia. The southern cassowary is an essential species because they eat fallen fruit whole and then spread seeds through their droppings across the rainforest ground. Many trees and plants depend on this form of seed distribution in order to reproduce. The southern cassowary is a primary consumer on a food chain, eating the primary producers, which are the fruiting plants. Its secondary consumer would be the estuarine crocodile. Crocodiles have not made any drastic declines in the cassowary population, but they still pose as a threat. The top predators for cassowaries have been feral pigs. Feral pigs have become an invasive species in many areas of the world, and they have been pulling back the cassowary population by eating cassowary eggs and chicks. The southern cassowary is found in the tropical rainforest, molecular wetlands, mangrove forests, and even beaches of far north Queensland, Australia, New Guinea, and surrounding islands. The southern cassowary's habitat poses some challenges for the species. Unfortunately, because the southern cassowary lives in Australia, it is automatically vulnerable to the impacts of deforestation and climate change-inducing wildfires. Sections of the bird's territory, such as those involved in consuming and breeding, may be separated because of habitat fragmentation caused by deforestation. Separation of southern cassowaries due to habitat destruction could lead to nearby extinctions as well as genetic isolation. Car accidents, dog attacks, lack of fruiting plants, as well as human interactions also pose threats to the southern cassowary. Southern cassowaries have evolved physiological adaptations that allow them to run as fast as 30 miles per hour. Their powerful legs help them to flee danger, migrate quickly through thick forests, and swim strongly in water. The southern cassowary also has an extremely powerful kick, causing many people to refer to them as the most dangerous bird in the world. Each 3-toed foot has an extremely sharp claw on the inner toe that is up to 4 inches long. The southern cassowary has a loud booming call that helps them to communicate through dense forests they live in. It is one of the lowest known sounds or calls of any birds and is at the very edge of low frequency sounds that humans can hear. Cassowaries hiss and whistle in order to interact with each other. They also clap their bills or rumble when trying to become threatening. Southern cassowaries are said to be one of the closest living relatives to dinosaurs. The 3-toed foot and respiratory systems of modern cassowaries suggest that they developed from dinosaurs around 60 million years ago. The cassowary's closest living relatives are emus, according to genetic research. A southern cassowary's adaptations are overall quite strong. They don't have any major weaknesses that have proved to be an issue. Unlike most birds, cassowaries don't have wings, but again, because of their running capability, flying hasn't been a necessary skill for them to escape predators. A vertebrate that shares the southern cassowary's habitat is the rainbow lorikeet. These birds are arboreal, meaning they live in trees. This helps them to escape flightless animals almost completely. Their bright and vibrant colors also act as camouflage within the flowering trees. An invertebrate that shares the southern cassowary's habitat are dragonflies. Dragonflies use their swift and agile flight to avoid predators. They also hide in plants when the weather is too cold to fly. A plant that shares the same environment as the southern cassowary is the tree orchid. Pseudobulbs, or enlarged shoots, are developed by orchids in order to store excess moisture. They are able to endure lengthy periods of drought due to the nutrients provided by the amount of water they can intake and store. This is an extremely important adaptation for the plant due to the hot climate it lives in. Stinkhorn fungi is a fungus sharing habitat with the southern cassowary. The stinkhorn fungi produces a strong, pungent smell that drives people away as well as predators away from their habitat. The fungi's strong cell wall also protects them from predators as well as intense temperatures, which is important when living in a hot climate as well. Southern cassowaries are frugivores, which are species whose diets are almost entirely made up of fruiting plants, but sometimes they eat small invertebrates, vertebrates, bird eggs, and dead animals. The main fruiting plant that southern cassowaries prefer is called the cassowary plum. The southern cassowary and the cassowary plum have a co-evolution relationship called commensalism, meaning the cassowary plum benefits while the southern cassowary is neither harmed nor benefited. The cassowary plum benefits due to the frequent movements of the cassowary. The average southern cassowary will consume a large amount of fruit, then proceed to travel hundreds of miles before passing the partially digested seeds through its stool 3 to 4 hours later. However, the cassowary plum has to rely on the bird to spread the seeds. The southern cassowary doesn't have any great benefits nor pressure from the plum because it's not the bird's only source of food. The effects of deforestation as well as climate change put pressure on both of the species' success. Because of rising sea levels, a large amount of the coastal freshwater wetlands are being affected, therefore removing a large number of southern cassowary habitats. Climate change is causing fruiting plant patterns to change, which includes the cassowary plum. The southern cassowary hasn't yet affected its ecosystem in any negative ways. Southern cassowaries play a vital role in the upkeep of diversity within rainforest trees. The cassowary plum sap is poisonous to humans as well as most animals, not including the southern cassowary. This has not yet proved to be a major issue to other species in the area due to most animals being able to tell that the plant is poisonous. If southern cassowaries were to go extinct, the cassowary plum would have no possible way of dispersing its seeds. Therefore, the cassowary plum would go extinct as well. If the cassowary plum was to go extinct first, the southern cassowary would still have a high chance of survival due to the variety of their diet. Internationally, the southern cassowary is listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. In Australia, the southern cassowary is listed as endangered in the Commonwealth Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act 1999. There is an estimated amount of 4,600 southern cassowaries left. Living commonly in Australian rainforests, the southern cassowary is very susceptible to being killed in things like wildfires due to climate change. Increasing temperatures from global warming is also causing Australian rainforests to release more carbon dioxide than they can absorb. This is increasing the likelihood of an accelerated climate breakdown in the areas. All of my research on the southern cassowary leads me to believe that it is going to be able to withhold longer than most birds during the ongoing effects of climate change. Some facts to back this up is that the southern cassowary has already survived through multiple mass extinctions, as well as it has been estimated to be living since the time of dinosaurs. But with that being said, in July 2022, it was predicted that 1 million species will become extinct by 2030. This means that one species is being erased every 10 minutes. Taking this into consideration, because the southern cassowary is already an endangered animal in Australia, I have reason to believe that it will be a part of the 1 million species to go extinct by 2030. And again, although it seems to have better survival chances than most bird species, it is still vulnerable to the next mass extinction.